The next area in arithmetic reasoning is coding. So in coding, what you do is you get a question, and in the question each letter will be assigned another letter, or each letter will be assigned a number, and then you have to find the relationship between that, both of these original word and the assigned word, and then you have to find the code for another word. I'll give you an example. The question will be given like this: if cramp, C-R-A-M-P, is coded as S-C-V-G-T, what would rampant, R-A-M-P-A-N-T, be coded as? So if cramp is coded as S-C-V-G-T, what would rampant be coded as? You'll get your options also: S-V-B-T-V-A-D, C-G-V-T-D-A-V, C-V-G-T-V-A-D, and then C-V-G-T-B-V-D. So while seeing this, you won't understand anything if you are a beginner to this area. So you'll have to understand what is the relationship between the word cramp and the relationship between the word S-C-V-G-T, and then apply the same relationship to the word rampant. Okay, so that is how it goes. That is the basic concept of coding. So just like number series, just like letter series, what we do is we have some guidelines here, and then I'll tell you these guidelines, and these guidelines should be applied to the coding questions. So the first guideline is something that we have already discussed. You write the letters, you write the numbers, you write the letters in the alphabets in ascending order and in descending order, and then you number them. If you have already written such a number, such a coding, such an ascending order and descending order for the letter series earlier, then that is enough. You don't have to do it separately. Same can be used for coding also. Then we'll start with the guidelines. The first one is in coding is straight substitution. It is called straight substitution, or it can also be called as direct coding. So this question that we have given an example is is a perfect example for direct coding. You can see that cramp is coded as SCVGT. So what would rampant be coded as? So we can see that here we will give it separately. C is coded as S, R is coded as C, A is coded as V, M is coded as G, and P is coded as T. So that is how cramp gets coded as SCVGT. In the same case, we have some similar letters, some same letters in the word cramp and in the word rampant. We have the word R, we have the letter R, A, M, P. All these are there in both the word cramp and in the word rampant. So we can directly substitute these words, directly substitute these codes into the other word. We can see that R is coded as C. So in the same case, the same way, in the letter R in the word rampant can also be coded as C. A is coded as V. So here also A can be coded as V, and here A is repeated 2 times, so we can repeat the letter V also. We are starting to form a piece. We are starting to solve the puzzle here, because we have already got 3 letters. Now M is coded as G. So in here also we get that M can be coded as G. And at last P is coded as T. Here also we get P is coded as T. So the word rampant, we have as I said, we are trying to solve the puzzle here. The word rampant can be coded as C, V, G, T, V. But the thing is, we don't have any idea about the letters N. We don't have any idea about the letter T. But when you come to the options that I've given before, we can see that there is only one option that starts with C, V, G, T, V. All the others are different. So by using a very common sense, you can understand that the answer is C, V, G, T, V, A, D. You can understand that, right? So that is how you solve a coding question. So this is the most simple method, the straight substitution method. If you get a question like this, you directly substitute the relationship between the first 2 words to the third word, and then you will get the 4th word, or you will get the answer. That is a straight substitution method, or the direct coding method. Now, the next one is reverse. So in some type of coding, the answer might be just the reverse of the word. For example, you get the word silence. If silence is coded as ECNELIS, then what would the word promise be coded as? So if you have a look at it, instead of directly substituting, if you directly substitute, you just have to understand it from your common sense. You look at the words silence and the word ECNELIS. You can see that the word silence is actually reversed here. So in the same way, the word promise, PROMISE, when reversed, you will get the answer as ESIMORP. So that is another technique. That is another pattern that can be asked in the question paper. So the first one, as I said, is a straight substitution method. The second one, as I said, is a reverse method. Both of these and the coming patterns you'll have to keep in mind, because the question will be from either of these. So you'll have to actually apply all these guidelines and check which one comes as the answer. Another pattern of coding is called alternative jumbling. So in this case, you get the same letters. You don't get a new code. You get the same letters as the code, but the letters will actually be jumbled up. I'll give you an example. If the word course, COURSE, is coded as OCRUES, then what will be the word powers be coded as? So here you can see that when you use your sense, you can see that the word course and its code as OCRUES both has the same letters, but it is jumbled up in a special format, or is jumbled up in a particular order. So you find that particular order and then you jumble up this word also, the word powers also. So here there is a word powers. So how is this word jumbled up? How is the word course jumbled up so as to get the word OCRUES? So here we can see that we divide the word course into three parts: COURSE. Then we jumble up each part. So CO becomes OC, UR becomes RU, SE becomes ES. So that is how you arrive at OCRUES from the word course. In the same way, you divide the word powers into three sections: PO, WERS, and then you jumble up from the inside. PO becomes OP, WE becomes EW, and RS becomes SR. So that is called alternative jumbling. You get the jumbled up, the jumbling will be done within the letters, but you'll have to find out what the code is, or what the format of jumbling is, what the pattern of jumbling is, and then you apply the same thing to the other word. Next we have another two format that is quite similar to the letter series that we have discussed before. We have one format that is the extreme letters change and the middle remains constant. Then we have another format, the middle letters change and the extremes remain constant. So first one we'll check, the extremes remain constant and the middle ones change. For example, take the word correct, CORRECT, which is coded as CPTUIHT. So how will the word simple, SIMPLE, be coded as? So here you can see that the first C remains as C and the last T remains as T. So we can see that correct. So C becomes C, T becomes T. So in the other case also, in the case simple, you can see that S should remain as S and E should remain as E. Then we have the middle letters which have been changed in some format or some pattern. You have to find that pattern. So O becomes P. So LMNOP, the next letter. So it comes as the next letter. So in this case also, simple I will become J because HIJ. So it will become the next letter. Next one, RST. So S is skipped. So as you go on, one more letter is skipped. So after R, S is skipped, then you get T. So in the other case, you get M, N will be skipped, and then you get the letter O in the case of simple. Then you get the next one in the word correct, R becomes U. So S is skipped, T is skipped. Two letters are skipped. So in this case, in the case of P, you get R, Q will be skipped, R will be skipped, and you get the letter as S. So like this, when you go on, you get the answer as SJOSPE. That is how simple will be coded. So what happened in this case? In this case, what happened is the C, the first letter and the last letter becomes constant, and there is a format for the middle letters, which is by each passing letter, you skip one letter each. So in the first case, OP, there is no letter that is skipped. In the second case, RST, one letter is skipped. Third case R, S, T, U. 2 letters are skipped. In the fourth case, E, F, G, H. 3 letters are skipped, and as you go on, 1 additional letter is skipped every time. So in the same case, when you apply that same code to the word simple, you get the answer as SJOSPE. So that's what happened here. Then the next format that I said, here in this case, extremes remain constant and the middle changed. Here what happens is extremes change and the middle letters or the middle letter becomes constant. Take the word Punjab, for example, Punjab. The word Punjab is coded as QTNGBA. So how will the word laptop be coded as? Here you can see that the letters NJ both have remained constant. So in the case of the other word laptop, P and T remains constant. So you can write it as PT. So there is a different code for the other 4 letters. You can see that P became Q. So it is the next letter. So you can directly write the next letter of L as L becomes M. Then you can see that U becomes T. So T is actually the previous letter of U. When you look at that ascending and descending order of the letters and numbers that you have written, it will be very easy for you. You can see that T is the previous letter of U. So you can see A. So there is no previous letter for A. What you do is you start from the back. So previous letter of A becomes Z. You get the answer as MZPT. Then come to the word Punjab again. A, B. So B is the next letter of A. So you get the letter O in laptop. So the next letter will be P. And the last letter of Punjab is actually B. You get the previous letter. So it is actually the next letter, previous letter, next letter, previous letter. That is how it goes when the middle letters remain constant. So in the case of laptop also, the middle letters, that is a P and T, remains constant, and all the other letters, what happens is the next letter, then the previous letter. The next letter, previous letter. So for L it becomes M, for A it becomes Z, for O it becomes P, and for P it becomes O. So for the laptop the code will be MZPTPO. So that is how this coding pattern works. So there are many coding patterns. Some of them I have explained now, some of them I'll be explaining now. Two or three more we have to explain. So this is how it goes. So in the case of coding, you'll have to be familiar with the type of questions, with the type of formats that might come in the question paper, and then you'll have to keep on applying all those in your answer, and finally you will arrive at your answer. Now, another format or another pattern for coding is 2 codes for 1 letter. So far we have seen that there is only 1 code for 1 letter. For example, in the first example, we have said that cramp is coded as SCVGT. So for C we have S, so for R we have C, and so on. So there are some other questions where we get 2 codes for 1 letter. For example, if pond is coded as QRPQOPEF, what will SOUL, SOUL, be coded as? We can see that pond here has 4 letters, but its code has 8 letters. So that means for each word or for each letter, there is 2 letters as code. There are 2 letters as its code. So P, actually you can underline it there, POND, and in the code below you can underline QR, PQ, OP, and EF. So here we can see that P is coded as QR, O is coded as PQ, N is coded as OP, D is coded as EF. So you get an overall structure, an overall layout of how this has happened. So P is coded as QR means QR is the next 2 letters of P, PQR. Same case, OPQ, NOP, DEF. So all these letters, all these codes are the successive letters. So what comes after it? So in the same case, S can be coded as TU, RSTU. Then O can be coded as PQ. U can be coded as VW, and L can be coded as MN. Hope you have understood it. Pond here has only 4 letters, but its code has 8 letters. So each letter has a code of 2 letters. So P has 2 codes, O has 2 codes, N has 2 codes, D has 2 codes. And in this example, what happened is, this code is the successive letters, continuous letter. What comes after it? P is coded as QR, O is coded as PQ, N is coded as OP, and D is coded as EF. What comes after it? So in the same way, we can decode for the word soul. We can find that the answer is, for S we have TU, for O we have PQ. What comes after it? LMNOPQ. So O is coded as PQ, U is coded as VW, and L will be coded as MN, and in total we get the code as TU, PQ, VW, MN. So such questions will arise. You don't have to get confused. So for one letter, there will be 2 codes for one letter. Similarly, there might be 3 codes for one letter. So if there is a word called pond in a question, and its code has 12 letters, because pond has only 4 letters, and its code maybe sometimes it will have 12 letters. So you can understand that for each letter there are 3 codes, or 3 letters as its code. And it's easy to find also. You actually, if you can crack this code, if you can crack this relationship between the words, you can actually apply the same towards the other word, and then you can get the answer. So this is the main basic ideas behind codings. You can keep on practicing. Coding questions are the, the complex questions in arithmetic reasoning. You can keep on practicing questions. We'll be doing questions with you. You will be getting question papers. Hope you have a good time solving the questions.